This podcast is for law firm owners, right? So we're in a space where the typical name is Amsel, Rosenblum, and I don't know, trying to think of another name, Goldwasser. Those are like our family names, right? So, and the law firm might have two last names, three last names, four last names. Somebody's first and last name. I presume that that's probably not the best idea. Now, it probably has a reason why it was that way. I mean, they couldn't advertise before, like you had to, there's some level of prestige when it comes to law firms, but the name of the firm being somebody's name doesn't really indicate what you do and what you're good at, right? So what is the value of a name, and how do we overcome resistance of what's been done in practice for the last 50 to 100 years?
Well, that's a great question. And in my first edition of my book, I had an example of the longest law firm name in existence. And I'm going to have, if anybody wants to know what it is, just shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. I have to look it up. But yeah, Alexandra at eatmywords.com. So the value in a name is, look, your name says everything about you. And if your name is just your last name or a bunch of partner names, it doesn't communicate anything about your brand, your personality, what you do. And there's a lot of different things you can do to help. I'll give you an example. We worked with an attorney named Leila Benajamali, and she knew that her name was going to be hard for people to remember, spell, pronounce. She had the whole trifecta, right? She worked in San Francisco with a lot of startups and helping them build get their foundation documents ready. So she wanted a name that would attract startups, kind of the younger crowd, and that was related to the foundation. So we ideated away and we came up with a name that she loved, which is Bedrock. So she became Bedrock. And what happened is she started attracting clients she started attracting the type of clients she wanted to work with. And it was like magical what happened. And that is what happens when you have a name that expresses who you are. And let's say you work for a firm, you can't change your name, for instance, or maybe you're like, look, I'm not going to change the name of my firm, but I want to brand myself more. You can brand yourself as the blank attorney. So for instance, there's a woman named Lauren Vasquez. She's an attorney who specializes in cannabis, and she calls herself the Fired Up Attorney. Another thing you can do is, I work with a lot of food and beverage clients, lots of CPG clients. And, when choosing an attorney to send them to, I think of like, who's the food attorney? And it's a woman named Lauren Handel, and her company is Handel Food Law. Is it a super creative name? No, but it's descriptive enough to let people know she's a specialist. So when they're deciding which attorney, which trademark attorney should I go to, they're going to go to the specialist. So those are 2 examples or 3 examples of what you could do.